Podcast City Network. You're listening to The Everett Lee Show.
Welcome to The Everett Lee Show. I'm the Everett Lee. Today on the program, we have a new show. Not one, not two, but 3 new shows right here on Podcast City Network over on podcastcity.net. And all 3 shows come from the same umbrella as my guest here on the program today. I'm going to welcome the 4 of my guests here from Celerity Gaming, who host shows such as Casual Geeking After Dark, and their new show Breaking the Gates, which we'll get into here on the program. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Everett Lee Show.
What's up, Interwebs?
Hi.
It's good to be here. Appreciate you having us.
No problem. I'm glad to.
Hello.
Is he the one with the audio delay? Let's go around. Let's go around the table here. We'll start with ladies first, and then go up, and then we'll introduce everybody.
I am the host of Casual Geeking and Celerity After Dark. It's not Casual Geeking After Dark. It's Celerity After Dark.
All right. Sorry about that.
It's kosher.
Thanks.
And yeah, those are the 2 I host. That's about it for now, at least.
Hey, this is There
we go.
Hey, this is Andrew McWhorter. I am a personality on Breaking the Gates, as well as a member of staff for both Celerity After Dark and Casual Geeking. Yeah. If Kevin would be so kind as to be next.
Sure. I am Geek Kev. I am in charge of editing for all of our content, and I will probably be a personality in all of our content eventually. Sure, I'll hand it over to James.
Well, I'm James, one of the 2. I'm the youngest of the 2. You will most commonly hear me referred to as Salty. I'm your CEO for Celerity Gaming. I am a sneak peek personality currently on Breaking the Gates. I have been on both Celerity After Dark and Casual Geeking, and will hopefully continue to do so. I want to thank you, Mr. Everett Lee, for having us here on your show today.
No problem. I'm glad to have y'all here on the program. I usually interview independent wrestlers, independent filmmakers. So today's a little bit different for me from what I normally do from my normal of having guests on. But, I'm stepping outside my comfort zone here, what I usually do, and I'm going to see what we can get into here, just having an open conversation here today. With gaming, what exactly does Celerity Gaming, what type of gaming? Is it video games, board games? What exactly do you cover?
So we're a multifaceted gaming company in the sense of we cover all spectrums of gaming. So video gaming, tabletop RPGs like Dungeons and Dragons, and there's a Games Workshop has a game called Warhammer. It's most commonly like a miniature tabletop, but they have a couple of tabletop RPGs. So there's the video games. We'll occasionally do like family board game nights. Breaking the Gates is actually a Magic the Gathering YouTube segment, and Magic the Gathering is a trading card game. So we just have reached out there and we've hit, the whole spectrum. We want to appeal to as many people as possible.
What's really great about Breaking the Gates is the fact it's going to be something for somebody like me who's never really played Magic the Gathering. It's really going to be somebody for a base level who's never played but kind of wants to learn.
Okay.
So it's going to be not only just people playing, but it's going to be also where you can actually kind of go in and learn how to play as well.
Okay. I'm familiar a little bit with Magic the Gathering because I had friends that would play that there. I know back years ago, I did dabble a little bit in Dungeons and Dragons. I think pretty much everyone has dabbled in Dungeons and Dragons at one point in their life, you know?
We actually have
at least had at least had a passing encounter with it.
Oh yeah. From what I played with it when I participated, I pretty much enjoyed it because you kind of go in direction that you want to go. You create your own story there, and you just use your imagination, and you can go in places. I know when I think about Dungeons and Dragons, it always throws me back to making it what it is. It was just really, really fun to watch and hear people play about it. Was Big Bang Theory. That always comes to mind. That was great. Any of you guys were you guys fans of the Big Bang Theory?
Yeah, we're big fans of it at my house. My fiance, diehard fan. Yeah, it actually got him to where he was willing to come in. I've been playing for years, Dungeons and Dragons, and then when he started watching Big Bang Theory and they started playing, he actually got his curiosity piqued where he was willing to come and do a couple one-shots with us. So he's too much of a character himself to be able to play full-time with us.
Damn.
I almost wore my Flash shirt as an homage to Sheldon today.
I have one of those myself, man. I think I wore it earlier this week or last week on one of the episodes I did. But yeah, I'm always running around trying to find a shirt to wear, and I just throw on anything. Sometimes it looks like I've recorded 2 episodes in one day because of the same shirt I wear, but it's just I grab whatever's available.
Hey, we
all have our favorites too.
Oh,
I
yeah.
live at Disney World because most
Are you one of those people with a pot?
What's that?
Are you one of those people with a pile of clothes and you do the sniff check?
Pretty much on days. It depends what day of the week it is there. If it's running towards the end of the week or right before the beginning of the week and I haven't put up anything, it's like I throw a pile right there and I just like, okay, you know. And
Next.
Yeah. And then my daughter comes in, what you doing, Daddy? It's like going through clothes. And then she starts handing them off to me, my 3-year-old daughter. And we're just like, tossing them. Teaching her some bad habits there, which I shouldn't, but it happens.
Yeah, I'm guilty of teaching my niece McKaylee about the Febreze test. Where when I wear the same shirt twice, you Febreze it down.
I don't know what's worse.
What?
Back in the military, I definitely took Febreze showers.
I mean, shower deodorant, that's pretty much like out of the shower right there. You can actually take. I mean, you don't get wet. But
that or
yeah, it's pretty crazy with stuff that we do and everything. But video gaming, y'all any gamers, PS4, Xbox?
I think I'm the biggest one. We all definitely game for sure. Some of us more hardcore than the others, but
yeah.
I've been gaming since 1984.
When I'm planning on taking a huge chunk out of my gaming time, not gonna lie.
I don't play video games that much anymore. Trying to pick them up a bit more lately, but it's been an uphill battle on that one.
Yeah, I haven't really played much gaming here lately. Probably since February. I have a PS4 behind me, and it malfunctioned. I was playing Destiny 2 one night, went to go play it and load it up, and it started loading up, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the game just like shot out of the system. I'm like, what? It made this sound, and it just shot off, and I'm like, what the hell is this thing doing? It's possessed, man.
I think it might be time for a new console, Everett.
Yeah.
I looked it up online. It was just a little bit of little bit of reset you have to do to it, because I bought one of the first PS4s I think that came out, so it's the old style.
The big chunky black one.
The fat, yeah. That's what I have.
Yeah, that's what we.
Pretty sure that's what I have as well.
Yeah.
Destiny 2 was the games I played a lot. I mean, when it first came out, I bought Destiny 1 and played through that, and me and my cousin, we did the raids and pretty much moved on to Destiny 2, and then we kind of separated there for a while, but then I got back into it. I'd get back into it when new DLC would come out, and then I'd jump back out and not play it for a while, and then come back, and then here lately I haven't actually played it, but GTA 5, that's my game right there, Grand Theft Auto guy.
I have been attempting to play Call of Duty WW2. I'm not really great at first-person shooters, but when the whole quarantine mess started, I decided I'd make a go at it, since Paul has like 15 billion first-person shooter games at the house, and I'm stuck here. So he calls me, what was that he has been calling me lately? It's basically where I'm killing my own people more than I'm actually killing the enemy.
A team killer?
Friendly fire. That's what he's been calling me, is friendly fire, because I've accidentally blown up my own team like 15 times.
I would be interested in seeing you jump on with us for Warzone. I think that'd be interesting. Kind of up your alley. There is no team killing in that.
The grenades are horrible. I missed the timing on them so bad.
It's a skill you have to develop.
I gave up after one point where I'm like, just get me off the beach. Just get me off the beach.
Oh god. she's Andrew, and for talking about Warzone purposes, she's the one that drops in and then just runs in a straight line until she hits a wall.
No, I zigzagged. I did zigzag.
Serpentine.
I know that much.
There has to be some form of counter.
Keep in mind, the last video game I really played that hardcore was freaking Evercrack for the PS2.
Oh, damn.
Oh my god.
That's old, man.
That was the last time I really took
EverQuest got a release on the PS2.
Video game for a while.
Yes, EverQuest did have a release on the PS2.
Yeah, that was the last time I genuinely took time to game for a while, other than playing my Game Boy, which I have my Game Boy Advance because I'm a diehard Zelda fan. I have Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons that I bounce back and forth and play a lot, and Legends, which I play a lot. So
yeah,
I cycle through those because once I find a game I like, I just kind of play it on repeat on different levels.
Nice. I pretty much Zelda, NES, Super Nintendo. Actually, I think I started out with the Atari 2600, Pac-Man. I was 5 years old. I played the hell out of Pac-Man and Space Invaders and Defender. Those were my games. And then eventually I went on to Nintendo with Super Mario and Duck Hunt. Those were my favorite. That was my favorite right there when the Super Nintendo came out. I believe it was those, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, which I loved. Me and my friends would get together and we'd see how far we can get, and then we'd cheer and just try to make it hard for the other person to get up to the next person to beat. And then Mega Man, we'd sit around and like trade off Mega Man between all four of us. Like Mega Man 3, Mega Man 4 is like, you beat this boss, can't beat it here, pass it to someone that can beat it. Well, I can't do it, or then someone would be able to do it. That and Castlevania 1 and Castlevania 3. Those are some of the games there. But
Super Mario Brothers 2 when I was a kid. My dad and I would play that every night before bed, and when I died, I had to go to bed.
Which made you a power player.
Yeah, seriously. And I usually played with my dad because he would play Luigi, and my dad would but I guess it was one of those kids thing. My dad knew how to let me win, so he's like, when you got older, I just kind of let you win so you could stay up a little bit later on the weekends, but during Monday through Friday, I kicked your butt so that you had to go to bed.
Parenting 101.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember
the two games
my
I played with my
introduction.
dad the most. So
Mhm.
my dad was
I remember growing up. Growing up, my first games were on the original Game Boy, the big boy that's like
brick.
that big.
Yeah.
Yep.
I had Super Mario World and Castlevania. Those are the games I played. And then the N64 came out. My dad got that and Ocarina of Time, and I'd just sit there and watch him play and be his second set of eyes to point things out for puzzles and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah, the Game Boy, the original Game Boy. I always liked Super Mario World on that. That was really fun to play.
Oh yeah.
Metroid 2, I'd sit there and I'd play for hours. I'd beat it and go back through and play it again and try to see if I can discover something that I'd not discovered before, and just playing that there. And you mentioned talking about Metroid, the Super Nintendo, Super Metroid. That was awesome. And
I spent hundreds of hours with Metroid games.
yeah.
So many hours.
Oh, yeah.
Kirby was good. I never really got too big into Metroid. I played Kirby a lot on the brick. I played Kirby and Tetris and Zelda. My dad always made sure there was a Zelda game in the house. My dad was a diehard Zelda fan, which is where I get it from. So I think I got that game for my Game Boy so he could play whenever I got in trouble.
You see, I feel left out because
Don't you and your sibling?
Both me and my siblings play it.
Yeah. No, your siblings have matching tattoos of the Triforce?
No. Me and
Oh, okay.
Steven are talking about getting Triforce tattoos. It's in the talk, but
Okay.
Steven has the worst taste in tattoo artists, and I refuse to go to any of the ones he wants to pick.
just call him out.
He does! This boy has tattoos that look like prison tats, I swear to God.
Oh God.
I refuse to go any of the people my brother has ink from.
Does he just
Right,
find
your
like
brother. I thought you were talking about the speedrunner that will be appearing on our channel.
Kelly is not a huge fan of Zelda as far as I know. We haven't really talked about Zelda. So as far as I know, Kels is not a huge fan of it. And we've been talking about getting Owl's sister tattoos, but that's still like a whiles away.
See, now, I would get on the Triforce bandwagon. I would be down for that for sure.
But no,
Add it to my other flash art.
Like, we would go to blow for the Game Boy.
Triforce tattoo. I think it would be neat. Here's an idea. On the shoulder, get half the Triforce, and then the other person get the other half, and then when you're
standing next to each other, it like completes the try. Yes,
That would definitely be cool.
Yeah,
That's
that's
pretty cool.
that's an
My little
idea.
problem, my little brother is like almost a solid foot taller than me. He would have to squat.
Well, like you just like you get it on your shoulder, like up here, and then he gets it on his lower bicep.
Yeah, he would have to
go next together.
There's no way I can do. I mean, my little brother's favorite thing to do is to rest his forearm on my top of my head as a joke.
So maybe you could get it like sideways on your forehead,
No way in hell.
and he could get it. Like, so when he gets,
I imagine Ori wants to be able to work.
I imagine Ori wants to be able to be.
Hey, what's up with the-
right now so she can smack Salty in the back of the head.
okay.
No,
I will make sure to do that for you after this recording.
no, I will never get a forehead tattoo. There are certain places in my body there will never be ink.
I'm not a fan of face tats. Like to break into pop
Real
culture for a second.
unemployable.
I'm gonna have to
Like-
agree with Salty right there. I'm gonna have to
Face
because
tat. I mean,
yeah,
I can understand and get behind. Well, I not get behind it because I don't approve of murder. But like teardrops, it's understandable. Like the heritage and how it originated, it's understandable. Sure, it's a face tat, but like I feel like that's more of a branding than anything. But like
Yeah.
Like all these.
I was gonna say Mike Tyson.
Face tat. Okay. To be fair, Tyson was incredibly drunk and just came off a fight when he got that face tat.
That's
So
not a good excuse.
I mean, no. But
My dad had a Garfield on his forearm.
Mike Tyson is insane.
Because he got drunk in Italy.
Mike Tyson is insane. I mean, he bit a man's ear off.
Yeah.
I feel like that just
Yeah.
takes
But
a lot.
if you actually look at it there, you think anyone even said anything to him about it? Because
Oh God, no, fuck no.
There's certain people where you go, yeah, you made a big mistake, but I'm not going to tell you.
Hey Mike, what's that on your face there? You talking shit about me? No, man.
What'd you say? You talking shit about me?
You better back up now because
Yeah, I was just gonna tell you what's really good.
Ink! Love the ink, bro.
yeah, it's like you better back up now. Things will get ludicrous right here.
I am not about to become another walking Picasso painting here because of you.
Yeah. I'd hate to be that person and walk up the mic and be like, "Hey man, what happened to your face?" Well, this is what happened to your face.
Man, what happened to your face? I don't know what happened to your face.
You know they can do like.
What are you talking about? Nothing.
You could do like Danny DeVito or Arnold Schwarzenegger said Danny DeVito in Twins. Danny DeVito said, "What happened to him after Schwarzenegger took out the guy?" And he's like, "I did nothing. Pavement was his enemy."
I think we've actually had that conversation before where we were like, how would you tell somebody you want to hit them in the face with a brick in the most eloquent way possible? And I think Salty actually came up with the best way possible.
It was Deary.
Deary was.
Oh, what's
That
that?
was theory.
One wishes to acquaint your face with a material found in construction sites repeatedly with great vigor or at a high velocity.
It was like, so to clarify, Deary is the other James.
Yeah. And he is currently at work, so he is not able to be with us, unfortunately.
Oh.
It was something along the lines of one wishes to acquaint your face with solidified concrete in a rapid manner or something
in a
like
rapid
that.
manner at a high velocity.
Yeah, at a high velocity.
It's like we're playing telephone right now. This is horrible.
It was. I mean, it was first recording of Celerity After Dark, I believe. So it's been about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And considering we usually are pretty all well hammered when we record Celerity After Dark, it's all a little fuzzy.
It sounds like ELS Uncut. I've not done an ELS Uncut there in a while because it was just hard for me because when I started out doing it with random people coming on and one of the guys I had come on to do it with me, it just ended up becoming more talking about wrestling, and I was like, no, I want this to be more talking about just everything that's going on. Like what's going on the internet, what's people tweeting about, new movies, different things, variety. And it just, I haven't done it in a while because it's just, I couldn't find the right people. And every time I try to start it back up, then it just never happens. But ELS Uncut, man, we did some bad stuff talking about a lot of things and a lot of alcohol involved, man.
Definitely.
Despite my
There are no topics left untouched on Celerity After Dark. I think we've covered first times. Celerity After
Nothing is
Dark.
sacred.
Nothing is sacred.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. 100%.
Despite my best efforts, my family has discovered Celerity After.
Yeah.
Oh,
We are
no.
terrible.
Oh no!
I told my little sister today, unless you want to know way more about me than you've ever known before, do not listen to Celerity After Dark.
Now, since we're talking about Celerity After Dark, can you elaborate more on what it is, because those that watch the Everett Lee Show know about ELS Uncut, though, but it's almost along the lines of that, but tell me more about it.
Go ahead.
CAD is, we refer to it as CAD as short. CAD is literally just the four of us here and Deary sit down just like we do in Casual Geeking, and as Ori previously mentioned, we're all fairly inebriated, and we just sit down and she'll give us an introduction, and then she'll either just spout something in random due to being drunk, and then we all just kind of spin off from there, and it's raw, uncut, just us being fucking ridiculous.
Nine times out of 10, it is a random scheme thought or a random bizarro thought that or question I've wanted to ask the guys off topic for weeks or months, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna throw it on Celerity After Dark and see what happens.
It actually originated
to give you
from Casual Geeking.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
There was our first episode when we recorded it. It was just way too much content for one episode, and there was a whole bunch of geekery in it, and then there was all this adult content, and I'm like, well, I'm just going to pull this out, and it's going to be its own show, and that's how it happened.
Oh, nice.
Thus Celerity After Dark was born.
Yep.
Yeah. I forgot to mention,
Yes.
I also do all
to give you a peek into
for us, so I rebranded. I did all the rebranding for that as well, so all the graphic images. That was a little bit of a pain because doing graphic images with the Celerity image was a little bit of a pill, but I was able to make it work, so that's something I'm proud of.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, to give you a peek into this upcoming episode, we get in detail about what an Alabama Hot Pocket is.
Oh, God.
Oh, can we really?
Yeah. Andrew was by far the most drunk. I was actually kind of sober. I was just working on day 4 of insomnia. So Andrew was by far the most inebriated out of everyone.
There was almost a CEO veto on that one, but I was talked out of it.
We're on Discord going, can he say that?
And I just said, this is who we are. This is Celerity After Dark. After the sun sets, this is who we are, not as a company, after business hours. This is who we are as the individuals that work together and who are friends.
Right.
So I just said, fuck it. Why not?
Especially since most of the time
I had the good help from my friend Johnny.
That last name's Walker,
That's
by the
White
way.
Walker. White Walker.
Johnny White Walker. Honestly, this will make y'all laugh here.
That's what I'm.
This will make y'all laugh here. Well, I'm gonna have to just wait until the episode, but I don't even know what the fuck Alabama Hot Pocket is.
Oh, you are in for a surprise.
But it just the sound of it makes me laugh. It could be something bad though, but y'all know what a Dutch oven is.
Yeah. That's so pedestrian.
Silver McWhorter doesn't remember what an Alabama Hot Pocket is.
Oh God, I'm gonna tune in because I like those adult, no filter shows. I like those. I definitely like those right there. But with the casual geeking, kind of roll it back here. Casual geeking covers more of the geekdom, pop culture, correct?
For sure.
Yeah, 100%. This past episode, the one that just released, was called Disney and Death. Didn't have a topic in mind, so I do something. It's a new thing that I thought of. It's called Roll for Randomness. I have a topic of about 30 to 40 different topics. I have my D20 and a D10, and I roll and pick a topic off the list. And this time it was random ability or random thing that you're able to do. And we went from there. And everybody kind of shared their one random quirk or thing that we were able to do that nobody else really can do, that they think is unique to them. And it kind of got the whole episode started.
Oh.
Well, it pushed us off the rails, which is where we go.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's still a lot of factual geekness in there. Like it's titled Disney and Death because Ori is by far all things go to for Disney, but specifically Haunted Mansion. So that's kind of where the Disney comes in, and then talking about the Haunted Mansion. You can't really not talk about death, seeing as how they're like it's called the Haunted Mansion. There's ghosts and like paranormal activity involved. So somehow we went from Haunted Mansion to death
and our own mortality.
Oh, nice.
But that's
our own general preferences and whether or not we were and were not, in fact, in somebody else's coma.
It's really interesting. We did get off rails a little bit, but it's all things inclusive, just geekery. So as long as we touch base for a while on just sitting down to geek out and just be giant nerds and fans of what we love, hopefully we can, touch base with some other people too.
I think an important thing that we need to do right now is define what geek means. And in my opinion, it's somebody who is not overly passionate, but very passionate about some culture or subculture, and they bring it into their daily lives, and it's just us talking about what we geek over. So for Ori, it's Disney, Salty, and Kevin, it's video games and technology. I'm more into tabletop gaming and literature, that sort of stuff. So that's things that you can expect to be with us, just hamming it out about our geekery.
I also go to town on Potter, for the record. Potter's the other big thing you'll hear out a lot. I make a lot of Potter references. Potter references are like sprinkled throughout all of it, especially since I'm having a Potter wedding. So
nice.
I am constantly berating the guys on some kind of nitpick. I will occasionally drop like, dude, get your tie. Somewhere throughout the episode of some point there is me nitpicking them to do something for the wedding, regardless, because it pops in my head at a random moment.
So we to touch on what Andrew said just a little bit. We use geeking and casual geeking as an umbrella term. It is definitely all things stereotypical geek or whatever, but it is definitely inclusive to the geekery, but exclusive to what we specifically as individuals geek about in our own lives.
Right.
So, that's just kind of a sneak peek at the universal content that will be on Casual Geeking is, video games and tabletop magic and all that kind of stuff. But also, like, Disney. And we have talked about literature in the past. We've talked about technology in the past. It's just, it's an umbrella term for everything that we love.
We started with the Vampire Diaries.
Yeah, we started with the Vampire Diaries, and then we moved into indie wrestling a little bit because my fiance has a background as a wrestler, so we touched on that. One of the other things we talked on,
and then we touched on WWE.
Yeah, we did. We talked on because me and Geek Kev have a puppers together. Thor, at the time when we were recording Death in Disney, decided to make himself known, and he was recovering from surgery, so his cone kept on bumping around the room. So Mr. Thor decided to bump and decided to grunt and make himself known. So we decided just to go ahead and say what the hell and put him on the air for a couple seconds and just goof around and just have fun with the dog. We're big advocates for pit bulls. We are all die hard. Oh my god, the breed. lovers of pit bulls, especially with as much as we love that dog.
Yeah.
You'll probably have seen him on our channel because Thor likes to talk and talk for us a lot. He's kind of the unofficial mascot for Celerity.
He makes a lot of announcements.
He likes to make a lot of announcements. Yes, he does.
He recently leaked some information that was supposed to be a surprise on this show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's gotta come over here later so Mommy can have a talking to him.
No Cheez-Its.
No Cheez-Its for a week.
But yeah, I'd actually like to talk about tabletop gaming a little bit, if I can take this. Growing up, I was a huge fan of video game RPGs. And, it started with Dragon Warrior for the NES, and it evolved into Final Fantasy and just kept going from there. And unfortunately, when I was younger, I had never had the opportunity to play a tabletop RPG.
Right.
And then, how many years ago did we meet, Andrew? 4 years? 5 years ago? 5 years ago, I met Andrew. He introduced me to Dungeons and Dragons, and I became absolutely obsessed with Dungeons and Dragons. I may be 41 years old, but I love to play pretend. It is awesome. We're going to have, at the end here, we're going to have a little bit of a spoiled announcement for you.
Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome. You get a spoil announcement here on my show here, and I want to apologize to Andrew because I know we kind of forget that he has an audio delay when we talk on here with a few seconds. But
I've been trying to communicate mainly visually then.
Yeah.
It's not like it comes in and out. You're pretty flat right now.
Yeah. That's,
okay.
Yeah. If I see Andrew giving me the middle finger, I know he couldn't hear it, so I just want to make clear that up
there. I wouldn't do that to you, Everett.
Well, wouldn't be the first time someone gave me a middle finger. I know one time my wife said to me, she's like, that person gave you the middle finger. I said, I know. They know I'm number one.
I like that. Good counter defense.
Yeah. Talking about pit bulls. Yesterday, me and my wife finished up. Finally, we finished up Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I love Quentin Tarantino films, and
that is a good one.
She thought I was. Did everyone see it?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone? Yeah.
We're all. I don't know.
A little bit, Andrew. A little bit, but
Yeah.
I don't want to. If that last part of that movie right there, I enjoyed that part the most.
Oh yeah.
Because my wife looks over at me. She's like, "You're sick," and I said, "What?" Because I was like, "Yeah." I was just got into it.
Get them balls.
Yeah.
Get them balls.
I love that. I love that. Brad Pitt's the only guy I know that could trip on acid, kick someone's ass with a fucking dog can of dog food, have his dog bite their balls off, destroy them, and then whip someone's ass all on acid, tripping on acid. But what got me was when Leo, he's in the pool there, and then when she comes busting out, and his reaction, he was like, "What the fuck?" And then you got this person in your pool shooting off a gun. You're not gonna. What do? You go in your shed. You grab a fucking flamethrower.
Flamethrower.
Exactly.
The better question is, why is there a flamethrower in his shed?
Well, it was from that movie he did back in the day. He still had that flamethrower in his shed there. But yeah, you could grab anything. Let me get the flamethrower.
I'm gonna walk into my pool house shed real quick, where I probably keep a lawnmower and a leaf blower and like some rakes and shovels and shit. I'm gonna go pull out a motherfucking leaf, a flamethrower, not a leaf blower, a flame throwing leaf blower.
Quentin Tarantino, man.
I think probably my favorite part of the whole scene was when Brad's like in the ambulance and he's like, "Where's the dog?" And Leo's like, "Oh, she's curled up with my wife. That dog. I don't think that my wife is ever gonna let the dog out of her sight again." I'm like, "Hell yeah, the dog's taken care of."
Because I didn't know what to expect, because he's sitting there and he's like, "Yeah, you got some stupid name," and he's sitting there, talking shit, and it's like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh damn, it's like he's gonna die. I was like, this sucks. And then all of a sudden he starts whipping everyone's ass, and I'm like, dude's tripping on ass.
Yeah, he just hit this tab of acid. Well, I guess it's game over, Brad. And then like half a scene, and it's like, yo, where's Kung Fu fighting?
I do like the Bruce Lee part, man. When
it was really a little bit frightening.
That was a good part there. He's talking shit to Bruce Lee. But you guys got to remember, Brad Pitt was in Fight Club, but he can't talk about it.
Number one rule.
Just read a Reddit article about how this girl had to do an article about like her favorite movie, and her whole thing was, first rule of Fight. She wrote the one sentence: "First rule of Fight Club: we don't talk about Fight Club," and that was it. And she turned in the paper. It was supposed to be like 2,000 words. Turned it in, got an A on the paper.
I was about to say, I would definitely pass her. It's like
the professor
top of the class.
Commented on the paper because I was debating on whether or not I was going to give you a passing grade on this, but I can't not. Beware, most professors wouldn't have the same sense of humor I do.
That's
the first rule of Project Mayhem. There is no Project Mayhem.
my favorite movie all time. I read the book. The book is so much different. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in the book that's different from what you see in the movie, because how he meets Tyler is different in the movie from the book. It's totally different.
I feel like even the language of the book compared to the language of the movie, not language like specifically like English, but the tone of the book versus the tone of the movie is almost completely different.
The syntax
as well. Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
it's a very different read compared to actually sitting down and watching it.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's Chuck. I can't even say his last name. I have a couple of his books, Rant, and I think I have Survivor. Those are. I mean, he's kind of out there on the books though, but he's really smart in how he execute the story in his book. I know the movie, which I love, is directed by one of my favorite directors, David Fincher, who did. 7 and Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the U.S. version. Yes. Yeah. He does some dark shit, man. It was perfect for him to do a movie like Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, which I got the book.
Did the same director do Let the Right One In?
I don't know. What was the name of the movie again? The Right One In.
Let the
right one in.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I might have to look that up actually now. When we get done, I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna be looking that up now. I'll be like, did he? Google. If you guys would have to say the one of your favorite movies. Everyone sound off. We'll go around here and we'll start. And what would be your favorite movie that you enjoy? A movie you can watch all the time and always go back to and never get tired of watching.
That's easy.
Go ahead, Andrew. Sorry, you're on a lag. We're going to let you go first.
All right. Okay. Pitch Black.
Okay.
Nice.
For me, I actually have, it depends on what kind of mood I'm in. I have a couple that I watch on repeat. but one that's always like a go-to fan favorite is probably View from the Top. It's an old Gwyneth Paltrow movie about aviation, and just because I'm in the aviation, I work at an airport, I've always loved the aviation industry. For me, it's just a good feel-good movie to me.
Nice.
So.
The Crow.
Oh, yeah.
I was Eric Draven growing up in high school.
Oh, that is a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
We got Salty.
Everett, go ahead. I've got a reel spinning in my head, and I'm trying to figure it out.
Oh, well, mine. I already mentioned Fight Club. That's my all-time favorite movie. Never get tired of that.
This is really, really hard. I would have to say, just because it hits home, and I was, fuck it. I'll give a little bit of background. I was like, so I was born in '97, but I basically, because my mom was born in the '60s and grew up in the late '60s and throughout the '70s and the '80s. So I was born in the late '90s and grew up basically in the '80s. So I feel like I was one of those kids born out of his own era. So I always referred to it as I was hardcore '80s bullied in high school. Like, they tried to fit me in lockers and stuff me in trash cans and like threw my locker on the ground and everything. So I had anger issues. So I was a mixed martial artist throughout high school. So like Fight Club, it's a movie called Never Back Down.
Yes.
Never Back Down and Never Back Down 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just mostly because it hits home, but also like I just love the plot line.
Mm-hmm. The first one, right? Yeah, the first one, because the second one, the reason why I liked the second one was because Michael Jai White. He's a great martial artist, and he choreographed a lot of fight scenes in that movie. So it was like, hell yeah, this is why this is good.
It was such a good movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So with your background, Salty, I have to ask a question.
Yes.
Did you ever angrily do a dance number in a farmhouse?
Not in a farmhouse, no. But fun fact, Kevin, since you mentioned Dance Off, I was in I was also in theater in high school. I was a big member of the Thespian Society in high school. So there was one day where I was just like on edge, and some of my good friends in theater noticed, and they were like, "Dude, are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm really in a shitty mood." And then we all started listening to our theater playlist, which is it's like 80s rock, current metal, current rock. There's some like classical in there, some jazz, like old school R&B. So we started listening to that, and then Footloose came on. And I was like, yo, you guys, I don't know what kind of mood I'm in right now, but I really needed this song. And my first girlfriend at that high school looked at me and was like, so you're feeling this song, huh? And then she started dancing, and she has his entire choreographed moveset down to a T. So she started actually dancing as if she was Kevin Bacon.
No way.
And I looked at her and I was like, do you want to do this? Do you want to do this? So we had a dance off for like 45 minutes. It was, and it wasn't just her and I, like it was the entire theatrical department.
Yeah.
But that was like one of my most memorable days in high school.
Oh damn.
If it didn't end with her doing a hell dive, you didn't do it right.
Oh, no, she definitely did the hell dive. Definitely.
You had a way more interesting high school experience than I did.
Well, you got to remember, I also went to high school in the 2000s. Like,
So did I.
I'm sorry.
Memorable high school experience. The most
Aussies.
memorable thing that happened in high school was me tripping down a stairwell and almost breaking my ankle to my sister's wedding.
I did that too. I fell down many a staircase. Maybe not 2 days before my sister's wedding.
Well,
Oh,
In a
God.
dress, and it wasn't fun
well,
because she
me
yelled at you.
and me and Kevin, we're the same age here. I graduated high school in '98, and the '90s, man, was all about this right here. I mean,
Nirvana,
Oh, yeah.
yes, sir.
yeah,
yeah.
I grew up with it. I remember when 13 years old, when Nirvana Nevermind album, and I saw that album with the naked baby in the front, and I'm like, how are they able to sell this, man? What the hell? And then, of course, you had the Metallica coming out with the Black Album, Metallica, yeah, you know, James Hetfield. And
Their last good album, by the way.
I mean, well, the one thing I like about Metallica is how, with Death Magnetic and Hardwire Self-Destruct, they kind of went back to the roots there, you know?
Yeah.
Rick Rubin, man. I mean, he produced Slayer and Red Hot Chili Peppers and stuff, though, but he did all of his Slayer albums, you know? And I've said this before on the podcast. Wouldn't you like to be in the room in there when Metallica come in and is like, okay, Rick Rubin, we're here to record. What do you have in mind? And Rick Rubin's sitting there stroking his beard. He's like, hey, guys, you need to play like it's 1984 again, you know? And it's like, okay. So,
Nice.
So I have a question for the two of you that went to school 94-ish.
okay.
How was Kurt Cobain's death received?
Oh,
That's a big one.
I'll let you go first on this one, Kevin. You go.
Well,
Go first
I
on this
mean, I was very much a loner, and I can't speak for other people at that point in time, but for me, it wrecks me. Nirvana saved my life. I have no qualms about that. And with Kurt's death and then the conspiracy theories about it changed me and shaped me as a person, for sure. I mean, it was a big deal. There were a lot of Nirvana fans when we were in high school. I'll pass it over to you, man. Right?
Yeah, when I was in middle school, it was around 7th grade. I'd be in gym class sitting there listening to Nevermind. People come up, hey, what are you listening to? Nevermind, Nirvana. I don't like Nirvana. By the end of 8th grade, that's when, before I went 9th grade, that's when Kurt Cobain committed suicide there, because I remember the night, because it was on that weekend. I used to sneak out of my house, and me and my friends used to run up and down the neighborhood where I grew up at. We used to go on a vandalizing spree. So I was sneaking back in the house about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was going through my window, and I had here at the time I had 101 JRR playing, so I still had it on the radio, still turned down. So I was sneaking in my window, and then I forgot which song got done playing, and the DJ came on and said, that was so-and-so. It's like, breaking news. Lead singer Kurt Cobain of the band Nirvana was found dead in his home. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, what? I was like, found dead, and then next day, it was like all over MTV back when they used to play music videos.
Yeah.
And I was...
Instead of crappy my daughter's pregnant shows.
Yeah. So I was, yeah, exactly. I was shocked by it. But then the people I went to school with who didn't like Nirvana, all of a sudden they became Nirvana fans.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, what do you listen to? Nirvana? Oh, I don't like Nirvana. Oh, it's so sad he died. It's like, they're buying In Utero. And they're like, you said you didn't like this, but now you're buying it. Come on, man. You know, and like Orage said, MTV used to play, music videos and stuff, and they used to, and now they play like you referenced there.
16 and Pregnant and
the best
21 and Dumb.
Right.
And
the best movie that made fun of that was that Jamie Kennedy movie. What the hell was it?
Oh yeah.
What, you know what I'm talking about? You guys
I
probably
vaguely recall it. It's been a while.
where not Malibu's Most Wanted. It was the other one where he wakes up and he's in a coma and he wakes up after years and he still thinks it's 1980. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
He wakes up.
I know what you're talking about.
Oh God, it's kind of
I
bothering
think
me.
Blue Pursuit probably sang it best in one of their songs, Bring Back Springsteen, Nirvana, you know. And they're one of
Bowling for Snoop.
1985. The song 1985 pretty much nails it on, like, give us back 1985.
Yeah. But that Jamie Kennedy video, that movie, not the video, but the Jamie movie, it was funny because when he's sitting there watching MTV, he's like, Mom, Dad, why is everyone on the TV crying on MTV? I love that part. I love that part. Yeah.
The MTV is just a waste of time to me nowadays. It's at best, on a good day for me, it is because they are doing a rerun of Legally Blonde. That is it.
My wife loves that movie.
I have to say my guilty pleasure is Catfish.
Catfish. That's.
If I'm going to watch something like that, I'm going to go back old school and watch Cheaters.
Catfish. I watched that movie when it was back on when it was on Netflix. I watched the movie and then watching the show and stuff because it did caught my attention there for a while because of how far a person would go. And it's like, yeah, I'm not this person. But most of the time it was the real person. And most of the time it wasn't, you know?
When it wasn't, it was like a crazy extreme case. It was like the wall is blue and I am looking at the wall and I can see that it is blue. But in my head, I believe the wall is yellow. Yeah. It was something like that. It was like crazy dumb.
Yeah.
I mean, I wholeheartedly believe this show that show is the reason why my fiance carded me the first time we met because we did meet online. In my defense, when my contact's in, I do look and my hair up and straight. I probably do pull off about 16 on a good day. So, especially back about 8 years ago when we first met. We met online, met at a secure spot in between both of our places, and he goes, I don't want to be rude, but can I see your ID?
Well,
when you get to my age, you
you were
have to
16,
do
weren't
that.
you?
We both carded each other. We both asked for each other's ID within about a few minutes of meeting each other in person. There's too much crazy going on in the world, so we carded each other, made sure we were both legal, and then we went on our first date.
It happens. It happens. I agree. There's too much crazy stuff happening in this world because you never know because people get so unhinged so easily now. They can go all crazy. They can assault you with a ham sandwich now. I mean that's
exactly.
We've become a hypersensitive society.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. It's definitely ridiculous there. I know a few weeks ago, or actually not a few weeks ago, a few months ago, I broke my phone because Mr. Chris Carnage was calling me and I was in my kitchen and the phone kept dropping, the call kept dropping and I had my breakfast bar. So I was like, I get so mad, so I went, son of a bitch. Whoops. There goes the screen. The screen, I kid you not, was all, you can only see a little bit up at the top. It was just destroyed. So there for a while, for 5 days, I had no phone. I had no phone. And I had people coming up to me going,
best time of your life, right?
Oh God, yeah. People are like, hey, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. It's like, you don't got a phone, do you? No? Are you all right? Yeah, fine, man. I grew up in Windows
Fine, leave me the fuck
95.
alone.
I grew up in Windows 95 and 56K modem. And
That was like a shock to the system for my fiance. So my dad lives in the backwoods, like boonies of North Carolina. He is across the street from a nature reserve. The closest my dad gets to cell phone reception back home is a cherry blossom tree, and it's like a 75% chance, maybe at best, that you're going to get cell phone reception at this tree.
I will.
I don't know what to do without my cell phone. We got a landline. If there's an emergency, you're covered. Just deal.
Right.
I was just talking with them the other day about dial-up handshakes and dropped internet connection because someone picked up the phone.
Oh God, I hated that. AOL. Remember that, Kevin?
Yes.
Dude.
AOL? Yes.
God, remember that? AOL.
When you were 98% through 98% through a download and somebody decides to make a phone call.
God.
Oh, the download drops.
Oh my
yeah.
God.
Yeah.
I would.
There were days where I would just tell my mom to pick me up from school later in high school, where I would be like, just pick me up from school later. I don't want to risk not finishing this book report because of our internet.
And also too, yeah, someone pick up the phone. You know, there I am. I'm sitting there downloading something, 98%, and all of a sudden my little brother picks up the phone and puts it back on there. You know, goodbye. And it's like, damn it! And then all of a sudden, I get him back and do the same thing. He's downloaded something on my computer, and I know that I'd let him use my computer, and he's doing something he wasn't supposed to. So I was like, I'll let him go ahead, get to a certain point. 98%. He's like, yeah, I'm downloading this. Goodbye. Hey, man. I said, what you downloading? I'm like, quit downloading porn on my computer. Sorry, you ain't gonna watch Tommy Lee and Pam get it on tonight, buddy. Nuh-uh. You have to go to bed and think about it.
By the time he hit that point, we had DSL, so I never got to do that.
DSL.
So,
Yeah, DSL. That. Think about
DSL
DSL.
is still a fucking nightmare.
God damn.
it's
Yeah,
still
I
better than
agree.
dial-up, but at the same time,
Yeah.
I couldn't exactly stop his connection by that point.
No. Everybody
Oh,
was
you
on
absolutely
separate
could.
Right
lines.
outside the door, which I did occasionally.
Honestly, just I know what's funny is 56K still does exist, and I don't know if DSL still does.
It does. We had it
I
for
know.
about a hot minute about 5 or 6 years ago back in the backwoods.
Okay.
A lot of credit card readers are still on dial-up.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
It'll dial every time a transaction is made, and you can hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, I definitely forgot about that there.
There's a
I'm
specific
the nerd.
company that's last name ends in Venom that still uses dial-up for theirs.
But I'll tell you what happened here a while back ago that happened to me. I'm sitting here at home, and my wife was off. It was me, my wife, just family, me and my wife, my daughter, and the dog. All of a sudden, power goes out. Power comes back on within about 20, 30 minutes. Okay. No cable, no internet. Oh, okay. All right. So,
Old school.
yeah. So, my wife said to me, what are we going to do? I said, what do you want to do? And she's like, well, there ain't nothing to do. I was like, bullshit. I said, look, go to this bookcase over here. I said, look at all these movies we have. Look, we got Blu-rays, we got DVDs, we got a Blu-ray DVD player. What do you want to watch? Oh, well, I said, well, what about our daughter? I said, well, what about her? I was like, you got Monsters, Inc., you got all these Blu-rays, DVDs? Well, what are you going to do with gaming? Hey, I got an old school video game system. If I want to play that, hey, I got books. Hey, guess what? We got dominoes. We got card games. Hey, whatever you want to do.
I'm sure somewhere in your house you have Candyland, because there isn't a household that doesn't have Candyland.
Not yet.
I remember Hurricane Ivan, I taught my little brother how to play bullshit.
What's that?
During Hurricane Ivan, when we lost power, I taught my little brother how to play bullshit.
Oh God.
Bullshit is great when you have 8 players.
More
8
players spend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had, for like 3 or 4 days before my parents could go back to work, the whole house played bullshit.
That's funny how you say that. It's like, yeah, we stayed around the house, played bullshit. And even someone you don't know that.
My little brother loved it. In fact, my mom was
Just a regular day of the week for
my
me.
little brother out of trouble and entertained. And when you're 8 years old and you're allowed to cuss, and your mom's not tanning your ass for cussing, my mom was like, "You're gonna let it slide. It keeps him occupied, keeps him out of the backyard where there's all this debris and he can get hurt. We're good."
A deck of cards was worth its weight of gold when I was in the Scouts. We'd go out on camping trips and we'd play ERS, BS, fucking Mafia. That just
Nice.
It was a good time.
One of the board games I used to play, because we were talking about board games earlier, we were talking about D&D. One of the board games I used to play, I forget the name of it though, but it was one of those where you had a board and you could set up different type of quests, and I forget the damn name of it because a friend of mine had it, and we played. I went over to stay over at his house, and on that weekend we sat there and played hours because you had different quests and different objectives you had to do, and I forget the name of the game, but it was almost like D&D.
Hero Quest.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah, Hero Quest. I loved that game.
That is a fun one.
And I loved Risk. I love playing Risk.
Risk is amazing.
Risk was.
Risk is like an go on forever.
Yeah.
So with the Scouts, I'd go to summer camp, and I was very involved with the Scouts. So I'd go to summer camp, and there wouldn't be any badges for me to work on. So it was just a week of hanging around in the woods, and people would bring things like Risk and battleships and stuff, and we'd just sit all day in the tent site playing Risk. About the only time I've ever finished a game of Risk.
Risk. You devoted a week of your life to do nothing but play Risk.
I've had Monopoly games like that.
Monopoly. I don't care how old you are or what, Monopoly's still fun to play because they also came out with those special edition ones too, which was really neat. Yeah.
Ev and I both have it for the PS4.
In the McWhorter Clan. In the McWhorter Clan, there are 2 games that are banned: Scrabble and Monopoly.
Really?
And
those
Uno.
are 2 of my favorite games.
They're banned because about 98% of the time it ends in a fist fight.
I can believe that. People, man, they get mad over Scrabble and Monopoly. My brother, he liked playing Trivia Pursuit. He was big into playing Trivia Pursuit. He was big into that, man. He was.
Me and my mom can go toe to toe for about 4 or 5 hours back and forth on Trivial Pursuit because we both have like this random wealth of useless knowledge because we're both big readers. And me and my dad do the same thing. My stepmom absolutely hates to play Trivial Pursuit against me and my dad because, again, I'm the same way with both my parents have taught me to have an enormous wealth of useless knowledge, which makes me a fantastic Trivial Pursuit player.
I don't think I've ever sat down to play a game of Monopoly, unless it was with my mom. I've never played a game of Monopoly where I haven't made enemies of almost everybody at the table.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not saying like just for the game period. It was like they walked away from that table hating me for like at least the next 6 months.
It's like, what? I'm a strategist and I'm playing to win. What?
Exactly.
And I do the big thing too. I give you a chump game where I let you think you're going to win every game after that. I watch and see how you play, and then I go back through and kill you the next game. Like, hey, this is how you play. Now I'm going to go and screw you over.
I think a big contributor to Monopoly ending in fistfights is we have a rule called holding up the bank.
Yeah,
Nice.
when you rob the bank, I mean, I feel like I also feel like there's mild alcohol abuse involved there too.
Even the quarter clan?
No?
I'm not doubting there's heavy alcohol abuse in They're Scottish.
Yeah, when you go bankrupt, you have an opportunity to hold up the bank.
When you go bankrupt, I'm pretty sure you lose the game.
Apparently.
That's why we introduced holding up the bank.
No wonder fist fights happen, man. SpongeBob SquarePants. I love that, watching that cartoon. One of the newer episodes that was released probably about this year or last year was an episode where Patrick created his own board game. I love that episode. I love that episode because Squidward gets so mad while he's playing it. What?
I
got Google
heard it
over here.
too.
It went off just now. Hey Google, shut up.
I have to go AFK for a second.
Okay. Another fun fact about McWhorter Clan gatherings: if you've had any alcohol, you're not allowed to play bocce ball.
Oh.
Yeah, that can be dangerous.
Yeah, you. That's how you murder somebody. And that's how you unintentionally murder somebody. Literally.
Fun fact about me and my troop, my fiance makes it a hobby because me and his best friend, who we all go on vacations with, both hate SpongeBob SquarePants with violent and aggressive fashion. So when we go to Universal, Paul makes it a habit and a hobby to make us get our picture taken with the characters because he thinks it's hilarious to drag us into the store.
My wife, she loves SpongeBob SquarePants. My wife does, and I love watching it because even my 3-year-old, she'll sit there and watch it, and so it's just stupidly funny. And it's amazing how that's become one of the longest running cartoons on Nickelodeon because it beat out.
How do they know? My little brother watched it.
Yeah, it beat out.
My little brother controlled the TV. At 13 years old, I was stuck watching SpongeBob for like 7 years. That's why I don't like it. My whole house ate, slept, and breathed SpongeBob for most of my childhood. So now I'm like, get ye back, demon.
Because there's so many episodes that I've not even watched yet and seen because it's been running for so long. And 2, I can't believe it beat out Rugrats for being the longest Nickelodeon cartoon. It's amazing, I think.
There's a meme that has been going around recently because of the virus, and it's the I never thought I'd walk into a bank with a mask and tell them to put the money in the bag. It's that meme, and I instantly flashed to SpongeBob where he walks in with the sock over his head, and he's got the bag, and he's not facing the teller. So every time I see that meme, I think, put the money in the bag!
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny that you bring that up there, Salty, because you can never walk. Remember, before you walk in a bank, hat, sunglasses removed, no mask, no nothing. Yeah. Now you can go into a bank and you can wear a mask.
You're required.
Looking like a Wild West villain.
Exactly.
Right?
I know. Tomorrow, me, Chris, and Craig have to make a trip over to the bank, and when they look back at this, they're gonna probably be like, "Damn it, Everett! I should when we go in there for a meeting, I should be like, how you doing? My name's Everett Lee. How y'all doing?" I freaking do it.
That sounds like a challenge.
No handshake. No handshake.
Yeah. Oh yeah, invisible handshake.
That probably sounds like a challenge except
I should just embarrass them. I should, because they said bring your mask, and I said screw the mask. Just kidding. but
so he'll murder you, or at the very least,
my mask. My mask is a black bandana that has an insert for the M95 mask. So I go around, and it looks like I'm Robin everywhere I go.
Mine is a butterfly mask that my sister-in-law gave me. I've got to get a new one because with my glasses, everything fogs up. Or I've got to see an optometrist about getting contacts. So.
You need the ones with the metal band right here. They stop the humidity from going up to your glasses.
I'm just going to call it and just... I need contacts anyways. I'm going on a roller coaster spree for my honeymoon, God willing.
Oh,
if not, I'm getting drunk off my ass in Burke Street.
Wow.
Driving is a gamble with me. Because my glasses fog up, and I'm like, I sure hope nobody expects me to be able to see.
Taking off your mask in your car is the new equivalent of taking off your bra when you get home.
I tell you, Bane has made a big fashion statement, I guess, here in the last few months.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, Batman.
Yeah, he's made a big comeback. Everybody's like, Bane did it before it was cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tom Hardy.
Yeah. Yeah, I have the feeling it's like I should just like go around with a mask and I should just walk around talking like Bane. You know, when I go to the store, they're like, "Yeah, that'd be $5.99, $4.99." Oh, really? Yes. Do you want that in pennies or dollars? Because back in my day, we had to shovel snow for dollars. Yeah.
I'm half tempted to go buy a respirator just to get that, like, that tone.
I actually have
You were born into the plastic age.
Filters. And when you wear something like that, it doesn't make you sound like Bane, but you can't help talking like Bane.
Like Bane, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think my vocal cords can go that low.
Did you all see the meme that was going around with Tom Hardy actually wearing the mask when he was out in public?
Gotta love Tom Hardy. He's a gem.
Great actor.
Love Tom Hardy.
Phenomenal actor.
Great actor. He's one of those underrated actors there. Warrior, I loved him in that, and he did a movie before The Dark Knight Rises again, and Warrior. He did a movie called Bronson. If you ever check that out, you seen Bronson?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen bits and pieces of it.
Oh God, I love it. I love it. I love the part with the when the prison guards come in and he knows what's going to happen, so he's slicking himself up, and the guard's like he strips himself naked, and the guy's like, the guard's like, oh no, don't. He's like, I ain't worried about you, and he's slicking himself up, and he's like, come on, and he's fighting them butt naked, but they can't get a hold of him.
They get
So
ripped.
yeah, he's whipping their ass. Love it.
Sticking hands.
I love it. If you guys ever get a chance to see it, I'd see it because it's kind of based on a true story with a guy that Bronson was the longest, stayed in prison the longest, I think. Where was it at, Kevin, there? Over in England, Europe, or somewhere?
I don't remember.
But he stayed in prison the longest there, so he got well known for it. He spent basically his majority of his whole life in prison, but he would do shit like that. He'd like the guards come in and want to fucking beat his ass because he'd do something, so he'd like strip himself naked and cover himself with oil because when the guards are reaching for him, they can't get a hold of him. So all he does, he's kicking their ass, circles around them. And that's how he got his kicks off, and then they'd all gang up on him, beat him up, and he got a kick out. That's how he got his. He got off on it.
I remember a press release that Tom Hardy did for Venom.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God! Talk about since we're on the Tom Hardy topic, moving from comedies to actions. Especially because Andrew here is my all things fanboy for Spider-Man.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
But I'm so ready for Venom 2.
Oh, it looks so good.
I loved Tom Hardy in Venom, especially the end scene before the credits when the dude comes in and like is threatening Mrs. Chu for the money, and then it's
that's a good one.
It's the like, can we eat him? Yes, because he's a bad guy, and then you're like half morphs. And then full morphs, and then he's like, "Yo, what are you?" He's like, my favorite line, the most iconic line from the movie is, "We are Venom," and then he bites his head off and throws him out of the store.
I love it. When I heard about Tom Hardy playing Venom and everything about it, I'm like, that is Eddie Brock from the fucking comics.
Exactly.
Not Eric Foreman from that 70s show. But
exactly.
If you understood, and I mentioned this a while back ago to someone, I said, the reason why Spider-Man 3 turned out the way it is because of Sony. Sony threw so much pressure on Sam Raimi, and it was like, add this. That's why it turned out to be a little bit of a clusterfuck. So with having Tom Hardy,
it didn't need to have 4 villains in it.
Bingo.
It really did not.
Yeah, it did not.
The plotline on that movie was just so jumbled.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless, of course, the villain is the Sinister Seven.
Exactly. Which they never did. They never did. Not yet.
Aren't we supposed to be getting something like that, or weren't we supposed to have already gotten something like that, where it's still like
we were supposed to. We were supposed to. They were setting up for it with I forgot his name. The previous Spider-Man. They were setting up for it, and then it just.
Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, with Andrew Garfield, they were setting up for it, and the next movie in that series was supposed to be, here's the Sinister Seven.
Yeah.
And then it never happened.
We got Tom Holland.
Yeah.
God bless his soul.
Which I'm going to consider a fair trade-off.
Yes,
100%.
absolutely.
100% on that one. I heart the Tom Holland.
Well, I think I read something about the Sinister Seven collab. It was before Sony was like completely bought the Spider-Man title. I want to say that it was like the Sinister Seven wasn't a Sony brainchild or something like that. So, because I know Sony Productions is the reason we have Tom Holland and the new Spider-Man movies.
Yes.
Because I want to say, like with the Andrew Garfield Spider-Mans, I know it was Sony Productions did all the film shooting, but it wasn't like Sony directors or screen rights or whatever. It was like a mutual partnership at first.
Yeah.
But
It's just a perfect example when the studio gets too involved in a movie and they kind of screw things up there. I was so happy that they kind of rebooted Spider-Man the way they did, and you really did not need to tell in the MCU. You did not really need to retell the origin story, because if you don't know who the fuck Spider-Man is, yeah, you're living underneath a rock. So that was good. It was like, okay, good. Let's skip the origin. And now let's get on to the story.
Just insert him.
Yeah. Which I thought was really.
I think Into the Spider-Verse did it well.
Oh God.
Yes.
With just.
Yeah, I love that fucking movie.
You already know my story.
Yes.
Here I am, bitches.
Tom Holland away from Spider-Man is just an awesome person, especially for the fact that all the different things were like with him, and I forget the guy's name. God, I'm gonna sound like a horrible person because I can't remember the name of the guy that plays Tony Stark.
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr.
Tom Holland and Robert Downey Jr. is just hilarious, especially when it's like Tom Holland's really bad about leaking stuff about Infinity's War. Back when it was really bad about him leaking stuff about Infinity Wars, and Robert Downey Jr.'s just giving him like the dead eye stare, like "Don't you dare say a word."
They are
That was
such
classic.
I love
the unoriginal,
I loved your
yet original dynamic father-son duo
Oh yeah.
in the Avengers.
Oh, yeah.
Like watching them on screen together is so magical.
Yeah, it is.
Tom Holland is a gem. He is a gift to humanity. I love they'll take pictures of him during Endgame, and it's like Tom Holland looks like he has no idea what's going on, and Tom Holland responds with, "Because I didn't."
That sounds like someone else I know.
We don't even have a script for record.
Oh God! I tell you, not too long ago, I watched on Disney Plus the Onward. It has Tom Holland and Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite. I love Pixar movies because
It's
when
so
it comes
good.
to Pixar movies, my favorites are WALL-E, Toy Story, and then Onward is on top of there because Tom Holland, Chris Pratt, they sound so good together, and just the movie is just to me it was a great adventure movie, and I loved it. I definitely loved it. And Venom 2, like we were talking about. I can't wait to see Tom Hardy kick some ass and see how Woody Harrelson plays off being Carnage. I can't wait.
Oh yeah.
He can play a great villain. We know this already.
Oh yeah.
I don't think there's much Woody Harrelson isn't capable of doing. I have yet to see him play something where I've truly sat there and go, well, this kind of sucks.
Speaking of Woody Harrelson, have any of the four of you seen the new Zombieland?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Oh,
Is it
it's so rich.
Oh my God, it was so awesome.
I know.
It's
I want it.
good.
I'm going in with. I have such low expectations that I haven't gotten around to watching it yet. Let me put it that way.
After seeing the trailer and the previews and just enjoying how badass the first one was, I walked into that movie with zero expectations, and it absolutely just fucking blew my pants off. It was so great.
Ew.
All right, we're renting it later, Ori. Oh, you saw it already?
I saw it. Paul's like a huge Woody Harrelson fan.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on record saying I think so. Hit.
Well, so was Evil
I think
Dead.
the entire movie was.
That.
It's like Evil Dead. Yeah.
That's what makes
Evil Dead and Zombieland are great for different reasons.
Yeah.
Sure.
Evil Dead was. I will go ahead and say it. Evil Dead was epic because of how bad it was. It was supposed to be this
Yes.
grand horror movie deluxe thing, and then it just ended up just being, oh my God, wow, this is bad. And then it became so bad it became epic.
Yeah.
And it evolved into Army of Darkness.
Yeah. And then they realized, oh, we have a formula. This works. Let's do it again.
The only thing that Woody Harrelson's not good at playing is he can't jump. That's it.
Wow, we're taking it back there.
I just thought I'd throw that in there just for the hell of it. I mean, he can't
He can't jump.
he can't jump.
He's not there either, but we don't fault him on that.
Ask Wesley Snipes, he'll tell you.
Oh God.
Yep.
One of my favorite.
Hiding from the fiasco that was numerous movies.
Yeah.
I've been a fan since Cheers, okay?
Yeah.
Oh man. Damn.
We are actually slowly working our way through Cheers right now. Me and Paul, we are working our way through it.
Two of the most successful long-running shows on NBC was Cheers and Frasier.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Friends. That was successful too. But
Frasier was its spinoff of Cheers.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Frasier was just it was spin-off of their from Cheers there. But that was two of the longest successful running TV shows for that network, because it seems like nowadays NBC, CBS, ABC, they can't grasp and carry a show for a long amount of time. Except, what is it? ABC has Grey's Anatomy. They finally beat ER as the longest running medical show.
Still them.
Yeah. I wouldn't have been surprised after they beat them in that. And they're like, okay, we're canceled.
We're done. Bye, guys.
They are lucky they still have things.
No, this isn't Fox.
Killed McDreamy. Like, I stopped watching. I used to be like a huge fan of that show. They killed McDreamy, and then I'm like, I'm out. I was already partially out the door when you killed McSteamy. I was out the door when you killed McDreamy.
But let me ask you guys this then. Okay, since you bring that up, though, knowing an actor or actress, and they've been doing something for a long time, like a TV role, and then they wanted to expand and leave TV and go into movies because that's what they want to do next, because they feel that they've accomplished everything they did with this character. Now, knowing that, would you A, be upset about it, or B, you'd like to, you know what? I want to see what they'll do in movies, and they're great here. They can even be better here. How do you feel about that?
Well, it's a lot of the times, you see that, and the actor/actress moves from, like serial televised work to cinematic films. It's like they don't feel as if they're doing enough because they're so used to shooting, like their schedule is so regimented and they're so used to having to stick to one character day in and day out, week after week for so long, it literally becomes a part of who they are. And then they move to like something that, makes them a lot of money in one shot, and then it's like they're done and on to the next project. It's like they feel out of place.
I think there's certain actors that can do it, and some that can do it partially, depending on the role. And usually the partially ones are roles that are very similar to the role that they played in a show. For example, Chris Pratt, touching back on Onward. Excellent in Parks and Rec. Completely flopped in Jurassic Park. Pretty good for the most part in Guardians of the Galaxy and the MCU now.
He was great in Guardians. But that's because Chris Pratt he's a comedical actor. Like, he's almost like RDJ in a sense. Because Robert Downey Jr. plays, like, he's in Iron Man, he was good. Like, he could play the action and, like, the sincere brutality. But you take Iron Man or RDJ from Iron Man and put him in the Avengers, and it's now you've got this battle of the wits between Tony Stark and Bruce Banner, and you've got this comedic battle between Iron Man and Thor. So it's like, I mean, sure, you're moving the actor from one, from a personal scene to a group scene, but Chris Pratt's the same way. He was Star-Lord. Sure, he was co-acting with, 4 or 5 other people, but he was Star-Lord. Jurassic World bombed because Chris Pratt was not the person for that role, period, whatsoever. Like,
I don't think he did a half-bad job at Jurassic World. I think he would have, if they had given him somebody maybe a little bit better to bounce off of, just a little bit, just somebody a little bit better to bounce off of, some of his notes would have hit home a little better. And again, yeah, maybe it wasn't the best role, but I think they were trying to use I guess I get the marketing side of things. He's a name. He was just coming off the Star-Lord thing. They were trying to move him into something going, okay, we're going to try and hitch a ride on the Star-Lord thing and move you into Jurassic World and hope to God we're going to be able to boost that. And it worked.
Yeah.
But yeah, it did fall a little short of the goal.
I'm not saying Jurassic World.
It worked unsuccessfully, in my opinion.
But the ride at Disney at Universal Hollywood, I've seen the POVs from it where they've revamped it to look like Jurassic World. Oh my god, the CGI effects on it looks amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. The ride's pretty cool, but
Chris Pratt's part in that non-existent. You get his voice for like 2 seconds.
They probably had to pay extra for it or something. I don't know.
He's in Fast for life.
But I've enjoyed talking with all y'all today, man. This has been really great.
Oh, yeah.
Just having this open random conversation here and just talking with everyone and about just everything. I mean, we talked about Casual Geeking to Celerity After Dark to Breaking the Gates, and I just want to say I am looking forward to what you all do with all three of the shows here on Podcasting Network, and I'm looking to see you build your brand with Podcasting Network and take it to where it is and beyond. So I'm very happy that you guys are part of Podcasting Network.
Thank you. Very
Thank
glad
you.
to be
We're glad to be here.
I can say that we are honored to be on there, and we are very thankful for being here. Thank you for having us on the show. It has been a riot, and I'd be more than happy to guest again on the future if you'd like. Hopefully the delay won't be there. And up to Ori, you're always welcome to come join us on
Of course.
either of her shows, I imagine.
On either one. We would love to. You definitely sound like you would rather be on CAD because you said you like off-filter shows. You're welcome on either show, but I have a feeling you'd rather be on CAD.
I would
definitely like to see you appear on Celerity After Dark sometime in the near future.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I definitely would, man. I definitely would. I'd be getting into my ELS uncut roots there. So yeah, I would definitely love that. I definitely would. And I wanna thank you all for coming on here today, taking time out and just having a good time talking with me, and then talking about your upcoming shows here on Podcasting Network. And just you guys mentioned, Kevin, you mentioned about a surprise that you want to mention here before we plug Celerity Gaming.
Well, actually, this Friday, correct? Do I have the date right? I don't want to promote this wrong.
Yes.
Okay. Finally, we are releasing our Dungeons and Dragons podcast, and it's going to be the Dead 3 Awakening. So you can catch that this Friday.
Yeah, so we're kind of big mouth. He already ran it yesterday about it.
Yes. No Cheez-Its.
Early.
Nice. And again, I want to thank you all for coming on here. And social media, where can people find more Celerity Gaming at on social media?
Ori,
That's you, Ori.
Pass this one to you.
All right, you can find us on Facebook at Celerity Gaming. I do believe it is Co. Did we go Co? On Celerity Gaming Co. on Facebook. And then it is that same handle on Instagram and on Twitter.
Nice.
And all those are all linked up on our Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Just to verify, that is Celerity Gaming Co.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Thank you all so much. And before I leave, I want to mention Podcasting Network, your top source for independent podcasting. Head over to podcasty.net for great content and great shows over on the website. Hit them up on Facebook, Podcasting Network. Give them a thumbs up and a follow. Send them a tweet over on Twitter at PodcastingNet. Subscribe to their YouTube channel for video podcast over on Podcast City Network and on Twitch, Podcast City Network. You want more Everett Lee? Then hit me up on Facebook. Give me a thumbs up and a follow, Everett Lee Show. Twitter at @TheEverettLeeShow. Instagram, Everett Lee Show. And audio portions of this podcast and previously released podcast, head over to YouTube, The Everett Lee Show, Stitcher Radio, iTunes, Podbean, and iHeartRadio. I want to thank Celerity Gaming for coming on here today on The Everett Lee Show. And that's it. Everett Lee signing off. Everyone have a great week and a great day, and we'll see you again next time for another episode of The Everett Lee Show.